Hey there, it's Wednesday. That means it's time for the Knowledge Bolide Crew Hangout, sponsored by Topher Spin Meteorites. I've got the usual crowd minus one Doc Brown and Marissa. So I'm hoping that they join us later. But we have a little bit of show and tell, and I have some guest videos. What were we guys talking about in the hangout room before? Was there any conversations we need to continue?
Well, we're talking about National Asteroid Day, although don't really know too much about it. And it was talking about NASA, their probe to Psyche that they're planning, and they have a video which I put the link in the chat on how they're going to map the magnetic field, which is kind of interesting. So it's, yeah, you know, NASA channel is always cool on YouTube to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
There was also a bit of news about methane found on Mars by Curiosity, because Curiosity does its work on methane tests at night, whereas the orbiter wasn't finding anything, but the orbiter was only running during the day. So apparently it's like the timing of when it can be found. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I watched a small, I'm hoping that hopefully one of these major YouTube gods will mention us one of these days, but I was watching Simply Space. That's another good YouTube channel, and also Skywatch Media News. But I forget which one of them was talking about the smoke plume on Mars, the 1,200-mile long smoke plume on Mars. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the thing that's unique about it is in the morning it appears, and it grows as the wind blows, and it goes for 4 hours, and then it stops being produced, and then the cloud keeps on going until it dissipates.
Well, they're done cooking by then.
Exactly. It does. It repeats every single day for like 80 days or 88 days or something like that, and then not again till 623 dadays later or something silly. And then it does it again for 88 days, then not again for 600 and whatever. So it was a cool video. I want to do a little tiny bit of a game here. Does everyone know how to raise your hand, or just, you can just stay in or stay out? I want you to drop out if you've had a meteorite classified. Okay. I also want you to drop out if you found a meteorite. So we still have people in?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to think of the meteorite in your collection that is in one of the top 10% of your favorites. Was it your birthday stone or birthday fall?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Was it one you looked for over 6 months?
No.
Okay. Was it purchased at a show with fond memories?
Yes.
All right, we have a winner, Mr. James Shelton. I'll tell you what you won in a minute, but is that piece close or available to you?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm going to let you grab it real quick. Hold on. Oh, man. James has got his piece. Oh, my.
Wow. Sikhote-Alin?
Sikhote-Alin.
Yep.
Wow.
Beautiful. Pretty. Very nice.
It was.
That is.
Oh, wow.
That's
the Aerolite's mom.
Aerolite, right.
That is wild. That is a beautiful, beautiful piece.
That's actually my first purchase.
Holy crap. You came out swinging.
1947 for that, correct?
Say again, Art.
1947 was the year that they found the Sikhote-Alin.
Yeah, I was 1 month old when this fell.
Are you serious? That's awesome, man. That is a beautiful piece.
That's gorgeous.
Show you the back.
1947 is my birthday year, but I month.
That's interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
You know who's
Mark?
That's from it's Geoff Notkin's.
Oh,
Right.
that's a Notkin number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was out of a private collection.
I also have a piece out of his private collection.
Wow.
I'm backwards here.
Yeah, I've got a piece out of his collection. That's actually also one of my favorites.
Yeah,
It
so
wasn't at
that's
a show. It was on my way to a show.
wow, that is an amazing piece, James. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Man. Yeah, wow. I'd like to show you what you've won. The big grand prize of being selected. And I hope Jules is on. Yeah, good. Jules is on. All right, so hold on one second. We all know that Jules loves cutting meteorites.
Yes.
And she was so kind as to send me a little gift pack and even a nice, really nice note with cool art.
Cool.
Yeah. But in there were a bunch of meteorite slices in these really nice containers. She complained about containers, but for free, I'll take them. So I was in awe of how thin these slices are. Let me get the light better, guys.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Oh my.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What is that, like a millimeter?
3
Is that-
millimeters?
I don't know
Oh,
what.
It's less than that.
1.5 or 2. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, Pat.
There's a lot of metal in there.
Yeah, I hear Pat in there.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
1.1.
Wow.
1.1. Wow. Nice.
That's impressive, Jules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let
Thank
me
you.
cover this now. So this is a complete slice. They were really hard to cut at this thinness. I was gonna say thickness, but you can't say thickness with this. So
A lot of metal in that one too.
Yeah.
What is the
Is
name?
that an H4 or an H5?
it's an unclassified.
Oh, okay.
Let me fix the light 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. There we go.
Wow.
There you go.
Sweet.
Nice.
Nice.
It's definitely
Yeah, I
an
think-
H.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an H,
That's
but I
almost
would
half metal.
say a 4 is my guess. There's quite a few chondrules there.
Yeah.
Chondrule outlines are not super vivid. So yeah, it's H4 or H5, but I'm guessing H4.
Let me grab one more slice because this is tremendous. Yeah, just really, really beautiful material. Now, well, you know what? Not every slice made it.
Oh,
Oh dear. Oh.
shame on the postman.
Yeah. Well, this one I think was a result of a new cutter going Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes. Well,
I
they
mean,
didn't. They
usually when people
Second impact shot.
Well, there's no shame in practice because practice makes perfect.
yes,
Exactly.
they stayed together when I cut them. I wrecked them when I tried to lap them, and I broke every single piece except for the end pieces. It was tragic. I learned something, but it was sad.
this one is mine.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I
They
asked
got a little
permission.
fusion crust on it on the edges too.
I'll check in 1 second. I asked permission for Jules because she gave them to me. It was like give them away and you know for outreach and for people. So I was like, yeah, but I'm keeping one of them. Look at this. Look at this chondrule right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
And look at the big metal bleb up high
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Nice.
That was a nice
So
control
there's a
there
bleb on
too.
this side. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the one I've chosen for myself, Jules. Now let's see. It does have
Perfect.
some nice fusion crust on it, but I don't know if my camera will focus.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a little bit on it.
Yeah, your camera's working really well, Topher.
Yeah, awesome. And hopefully
Sweet.
my brand new mic sounds good too.
Yeah.
All right.
Jules,
so-
you did a real great job on cutting.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
very
agree.
much.
I totally agree. And I think that it's really cool that Jules is kind of, I hope that what we're inspiring here is the pay it forward mentality, where she got through cutting a few of these. These are her first meteorites. Like in her notes, she mentioned these like the first cuts she's ever made. Like I have that provenance to go with it, whether she believes or you believe it's provenance or not. That is provenance, and it goes with that slice, and it's going to remain in my gift collection, and it's something special to me. But all the other ones basically are available for outreach. So it's really cool of you to do that as a new member of the Meteorite community to help others as well. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'm just hoping to inspire other people as all of you have inspired me. And I just want to try to give back because I absolutely love doing it. And I really love those 2 meteorites that I had cut and given to you to give away. And I just wanted to share it. That's all.
Yeah,
Well, that's
very cool.
awesome. That's fantastic.
That's what's so great about the community, the Meteorite community. The people in it are willing to share, and that makes all the difference. You know, you can keep all the knowledge you wish, but what good is it going to do if you don't share it? You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I guarantee you that one of them will be going to you, James. If you would, when this is done, could you please send me a PM, and I'll get one of them to you for sharing your beautiful Sikhote-Alin with us.
Well, thank you. That's very generous.
Yeah, and that'll be from. I'll note on the COA that the provenance is from Jules herself, the new master cutter.
Congratulations, James.
If you have something to show off, please raise your hand electronically like Kevin has, and I will go to you. With that said, we are cutting to Kevin Dubeau right now.
Hey everybody, how's it going today?
Really well.
Very well. Today I received a new main mass.
Ooh.
This is from Grant Harkness.
Yeah.
Pat Brown, I think you commented on the post last month when I purchased this.
Yeah, I have 2 of his main masses, and they are really nice.
Absolutely.
I'm using my cell phone right now, so I don't know how well the quality is, but this is NWA 12887. It's 1,768 grams.
And Kevin,
And-
is this your first main mass?
No, it's
Okay.
not. But this is my biggest meteorite.
Wow.
That's nice.
When I first held it, I was like, wow. When you hold other rocks that are compared to this size and the weight, like this gives you a real feel for how heavy meteorites actually are.
I
Yeah.
love the deep regmaglyphs on the front side. That's cool.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And is it oriented as well?
I mean, it's got some pretty good shape to it. It's got good fracture cracks in it, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have to say
Regmaglyphs in the
that's
front.
at least partially oriented because of the aligned regmaglyphs there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Kevin, that piece there is well, first off, was a classification for a single stone or were there many stones?
This is a single stone find, one of one. And
Wow.
it's the only one. You can see they sliced it to go to science and get it classified.
Window, yep.
But no, this is the only piece available.
Wow.
And it's a pretty big one.
That's
Yeah.
sexy.
Also, this was the first meteorite that Grant Harkness purchased when he started the TOPS organization.
Oh, cool.
Man.
So this was when he started TOPS. This was the first meteorite he went out and bought. Now he sold it to me. So I'm sure that this meteorite has seen a lot of little hands and little brains examining it.
Wow. That is great.
Magnificent.
I love the fact, the exclusivity of it, the fact like you're the only human on the planet that has that besides the lab.
Yep. 101. L5.
That is awesome. Well, I totally appreciate you sharing that with us, and congratulations, man, on your largest meteorite and main mass. And
Thank you.
And basically the entire total known weight.
Yep. I
Wow.
think it was 1776 or something. So they didn't take a whole bunch off. This is basically all of it. It's an L5.
Very
Well
cool.
done.
Are those some large chondrules on the bottoms? Raised chondrules?
Honestly, I was hoping to maybe get some advice on the front here. I don't know how well the quality is, but in the middle, right there in the regmaglyph, there's like that inclusion popping out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Right there.
Yeah, hard to know whether that's an inclusion or a chondrule.
Yeah. I don't know if it's feldspar or I don't know.
Yeah, it certainly has a feldspar sort of color to it.
You can see even deep in there, and I can't focus quite on it, but
You can totally tell it's a different it's different than the matrix of the stone.
right above my thumb there, yeah.
Yeah.
Something sticking out of it. In person, I can tell that it's definitely unique, but I can't tell what it is, unfortunately.
This is screaming out for wanting to be looked at with reflector cross polarized light.
Yeah.
You will see with that sandblasted sort of surface like that, you'll see quite a bit of detail and chondrules and such inside with reflector cross polarized light. And it doesn't have to be super fancy. You can take a pair of glasses and tape a polarizer over one, and then tape a polarizer over a flashlight, turn out the room lights and rotate the flashlight until you hit 90 degrees between the polarizers.
All right. Well, thank you guys for letting me show you that.
Yeah, that is
very cool.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And what I like about it too is, again, we have provenance, and it may not be historic provenance like we have a museum label on it, or we can track it all the way from the ground to your collection. But when I did my presentation on the 5 S's of meteorite valuation, one of them was the story. And for collectors, not investors, but collectors, the story is a major draw. So with that, I'm going to give it to the hairiest storyteller I know, Cameron Smith.
Hey, Cameron.
How's it going? Let's see. I have one thing to show you.
Ooh. Ooh.
I don't know if you can
Is
see.
that a Lunar Breccia?
It sure is.
13,828.
Wow.
It's
Going on there. So that's
it's,
a polymetic Breccia?
I think it's feldspathic. It's Roberto Vargas's 13992.
13,992.
Oh, I got one of those myself.
Yeah, he had a whole tray of really pretty little individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 1 gram.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that post. Yeah.
Yep.
So to give him a shout out there, this is that
Roberto,
side.
yeah.
There
Cool.
you go.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Roberto Vargas is definitely a friend of the crew. He is going to be a member at the Meteorite Mansion. I hope this is your no. He will be.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome. That is fantastic, dude. Let me
And
see here.
That is polymorphic Breccia.
It's a polymorph. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a 1 of 7.
Yep. I see Chris Monk. Are you testing or are you ready?
Well, I wasn't trying to show anybody up, but
Whoa.
people always show me up. So I just wanted to show my 13992.
A baker's dozen. Nice.
Oh. Those aren't chocolate covered raisins, are they?
They might be. I haven't tasted one yet.
Now, that is
Beautiful.
how many total grams is that, man?
10.2, I believe.
Nice.
See, now, that's
So they're
really,
all right, real close to 1 gram individuals, between like 0.8 and 1.
That's really neat because, like, I happen to know that Chris Monk is starting his new company, Rocks on the Ground, and especially if you go to rock shows or if you're just trying to get newer collectors, it's really hard to sell a huge piece of the moon to people. You know what I mean? So to have a 1 gram piece of the moon that's classified like that, a 1 gram is super affordable for people. Definitely under $50. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And, being a man of my word, none of those are for sale. I told Roberto that I will not sell any of those online because I bought them from him. I will sell them in person to people that I am dealing with. And so none of those are for sale for any of you guys.
Yeah. See, that's really cool too, because I make agreements with people as well when we not to compete against each other, and it's not price fixing by any stretch of the imagination. It's like, I have enough other things I can sell. I'll let you sell out, and then when you're done, green light me and I'll go. That type of thing. But those little specimens may be someone's first piece of moon they ever get. And just because we were talking about inspiring young people and like those with Grant Harkness's main mass, how many young minds, like Kevin said, how many mental juices got flowing with that rock, and Chris is gonna take up the mantle. So good job, bud.
Yeah, and those are just perfect for outreach too. Not terribly expensive, but really impressive in the hand.
Yeah,
and the slices are nice, but little individuals are just really cool.
Yeah, and especially once a kid learns how to use an eye loop, they'll get lost in it for a while.
Well, they were referred to as fragments, weren't they, as to whole individuals? I'm just going somewhere I probably don't know the difference between being a fragment and an individual. If you get something, it's individual, right? Whether it's a fragment or not, it's an individual.
Well, I'm not sure if this is the scientific explanation or definition of it, but I'll try. For those out there on YouTube that don't know what a fragment and an individual is, a meteorite may come in, may bolide, explode, or may hit the ground and break up, may break up several times in the air. All of those are fragments. Now, once a meteorite is on the ground and weathering happens and it expands and falls apart, those are still fragments. If you put them all together, you have an individual. That's a puzzle. So basically, when you have a bunch of these little lunar ones, they're all going to be fragments because lunar is not a very resilient meteorite. It's not going to last forever, and they break up, and so they're going to be fragments. or if they are, you know, once you get a larger piece like this, that may be a individual fragment from the individual meteorite. So they're kind of interchangeable, Pat, do you think, a little bit?
Yes. I think that's real close. I think it's possible that some of the little like the little lunar pieces we just looked at, I think it's possible that some of those are individuals. And yeah, lunars are somewhat more fragile than, you know, the ordinary chondrites, and particularly the crust. The crust is really very, very fragile, thin, oftentimes transparent, kind of like on the, I don't know if it's the calcium rich or calcium poor eucrites, but the one with a really glassy crust. And so for those little lunars, the line blurs between individual and fragment, but generally, if a piece entered the atmosphere by itself and crusted, then it's an individual. If that piece loses all of its fusion crust from sandblasting, then it's probably nebulous whether it's an individual or a fragment. I think if you could demonstrate that all the surfaces were rounded over and or the corners and edges are rounded over, you might make a successful argument that it's an individual. But in general, individuals are fragmented before incandescent flight ends and get a chance to fusion crust, either primary, secondary, and then fragments, are either from a late explosion or disruption coming through the atmosphere, or from terrestrial factors, you know, rust popping rocks apart and such.
And thanks, Pat. And on top of that, my comments were more geared towards this lunar rather than meteorites in general.
Right.
But especially with these lunars, because they're all the same size, they're all uniform. In my mind, it leads me to believe that they all broken apart of a bigger piece rather than a bunch of small ones entered and were found in the same area. That's the way, because I also see a lot of weathering on those. They're definitely not, you know, absolutely fresh. But I'm super glad that Pat brought up fusion crust on lunars, because I actually had someone ask some questions about fusion crust and in the comments on YouTube, and I thought they were intelligent, and so I had a little conversation with them, and the synopsis was, you know, how thick is fusion crust and how thick is it on lunars? And I basically said that, you know, a 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter is the sweet spot. On the outliers, you have some that are as thick as 2 millimeters. Like on my Aurora 003, it's hard to tell because it's really, really thin and translucent fusion crust, but it pools up and has walls built up, so it measures over 2 millimeters. But on lunar, you're never going to find dark fusion crust. You're going to find, as Pat said, like a creamy, translucent, a milky, an almond color. Some words like that are used, but never a dark fusion crust, and usually not on lunars.
Yeah, you don't see the black fusion crust. On some very rare individuals, there's kind of a chocolate brown fusion crust, like NWA 482 had a really nice milk chocolate sort of color, but that's very much the exception. For the most part, yeah, they're like obrate crusts. They're creamy, thin, fragile.
I have more Mars with fusion crust in my collection than the total quantity of fusion crusted lunars, which is 0. So whether I haven't found the right one or they're just not out there, but I haven't had much luck.
It's nothing that a very large amount of money won't fix.
Yeah.
Fusion crust is the most fragile of any part of a meteorite that does land on the planet Earth, right? Being that it's generally very thin, but it's very susceptible to disintegrating in the elements.
Yeah, and of course, by the very definition, it's, you know, on the outside, so
yes,
it's exposed to everything. Mike Kelly with his hand up. Let's go right to him.
How's it going, guys? So
Bud?
sticking with stuff from Roberto. I'll start there. So he had a couple of thin sections he had never looked at before. So we fixed that this weekend. I hopped in the car with the scope and drove up there and hung out with him for the day.
Nice.
And scoped up some of his stuff, cut some stuff open, etched a piece of pungar. So it was a pretty good time. And I wanted to share these two. These were a little thank you that he sent me home with, which I was appreciative of. So that's a Eucrite-melt Breccia that he's getting classified. So that's still an NWA XXX.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty nice material in there. So I'm looking at hopefully taking that bigger piece and turning it into a thin section.
Nice. That would look beautiful in reflector cross polarized light too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just a slice, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one, which I thought was really cool, that I got to take home a little piece. This was his 13077. So that's a 1 of 17 R3 through 5. What was really cool is that was his first classification, and there's only 70 grams of it total. So I was very appreciative to get a cool little piece like that.
Rumoridites are far from common.
Yep. So those two are cool. And then the last thing I have, I've showed off this set before, and I never in my wildest dreams thought I would finish off my version of these COs. So those are all the petrology subtypes of 0.0 through 0.8. But there was one other piece, and Andreas showed it on that first or second video that he produced and sent in, and it was really cool. And it's a 101, and it's only got 26 grams total weight. And considering that it was found in 2015, I figured that I was a little bit late and a little out of luck. Yeah. But I reached out to one of the two listed main mass holders just because to take the long shot. And now my set is complete. So that's CO-Melt Breccia, 1 of 1, only 4.7 grams total known weight. So that's pretty cool. And it's right from the listed main mass, one of the two listed main mass holders, Hanos Truth.
Oh.
0.027 kilograms total known weight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
dude,
I can
well done, man.
Gladly say I am now got a full set of what I wanted for the COs.
It helps to be connected.
There was some colony.
Man, that is amazing, dude. I'm super happy for you, man. See,
thanks.
You completed that and you beat me to the 60 famous ones. Damn it.
Yeah, that's really cool. There was some colony 3.0 carbonaceous chondrite that was on one of the pages in the last couple of days. That's all that often.
Yeah. And I think I looked it up after I saw that post. There's only I think 4 American COs. So yeah, there are not a whole lot out there.
Cool.
Man.
Cool.
Yeah, very neat. Yeah, and yeah, for those who don't follow us every single week, Mike is our Mike. Well, when we first started, he was our micro collector. Now he's our class collector. He's been upgraded because some of those ones he's gotten since we started the Hangouts are not micro, so it doesn't really fit anymore. But yeah, nice.
Diversity is the spice of life.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
Mike is very valuable to our group too. He's one of our degreed people in the field. The rest of us are all amateurs, but Mike is degreed.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. It's weird because I'm dealing with a stalker on eBay right now. In fact, right before this call, right before the Hangout, I was actually talking to a supervisor at eBay, and luckily they called me back before the Hangout. But yeah, this guy is just a piece of work, and I don't want to get off on that subject. But I'll tell you what, let me hit pause real quick. All right. I figured we would check in. As I said, this is June 30th at our 57th in a row. So well done, boys and girls. We're checking in with Domyon. And I really hope I didn't just butcher that. But he is excellent at photography. I just like every video, I'm blown away. Cameron Smith will appreciate this. We're looking at Legal, that little piece up there. Wait till you see this video. He is just amazing with his photography. So take it away in Croatia, Domyon.
Hi, this week I've got just a very short video for you. This little piece of Legle is my oldest meteorite. Well, oldest fall at least. I love how even this tiny fragment looks fresh even after more than 200 years. Even the metal is unoxidized.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, but we need to go back and...
I love how even this tiny fragment looks fresh even after more than 200 years. Even the metal is unoxidized.
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is cool.
This 0.65 gram and 1 centimeter wide slice is my only piece of Howardite. As Western surface breccia or regolith, it's one crazy mixture of different clasts. Not only does it contain Dargenite and Eucrite fragments, but also has clear CM inclusions. These are obviously xenolithic, a part of a carbonaceous meteorite striking Vesta. Not only that, but there are also obvious metal flakes, which are also xenolithic inclusions, parts of an iron meteorite impactor. This means that in this tiny slice we not only have samples of different parts of Vesta, but also two completely different meteorites that impacted Vesta. Anyway, I thought this was very cool and wanted to share it with you. That's all for this week and hope to see you next time.
Wow. Domyon, thank you so much, man. Gee, I cannot believe the complexity of this piece.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
I think everybody has talents of some sort. Domyon, photography is your gig.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, I have no problem ever getting screen grabs for Domyon's intro slide because I can basically just randomize it, close my eyes and hit pause and I'll get something like this. I thought what's cool about this one here, if you guys even hadn't even noticed it or seen it up here, is this kind of looks like a eucritic class, and inside it is definitely not the same, and it doesn't even look eucritic to me. And then definitely some diagonite material. All these little green flakes in here are all diagonite material, pyroxene, I hope. But yeah, just I think Chris nailed it. Yeah, everyone has their talents or many talents, but Domyon, you excel at photography.
Wow.
My only suggestion is go slower, because you have a 2-minute video. It could have been 3 minutes and we would have been just as happy with the same footage slowed down. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Superior photography.
Yeah. Yeah. And this equipment that he's got is largely homemade and adapted from microscope objectives and zoom turned backwards and all sorts of cool stuff.
Now, do we agree with his summation that this is a piece of Vesta that shows two impactors? Because if that is in fact metal in there, metal is not Vestan, and if it was carbonaceous, well, there's no carbonaceous meteorites from Vesta.
I think that explanation holds water quite well. A lot of the primitive meteorites, type 3s and type 4s, especially the LL3s and LL4s, have carbonaceous material in them, and some of the carbonaceous chondrites have multiple different classifications of carbonaceous material. So as Tony Irving said when I was asking questions about broken chondrules in very primitive meteorites, it's a violent, chaotic place out there. There's stuff running into stuff all over. So
nice. Thank you for that. Now, great work, Domyon. And hey, you could submit a video each and every week keep it up, buddy. And I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but this will mean something to you guys who are photography nuts and not me. But he has the magnification and optic information, whatever. Right. I guess you could figure that out if you're smarter than me on photography. We're going to check in this week with Randy Tatum. Remember, he gave us a video last week with thin section slides that he made himself from impact material. Well, this week he's going to take us on a slight tour of his impactite collection and his microscopes.
Excellent.
Hello, this is Randy Tatum. I live in Richmond.
Sorry, guys, I'll get the volume all the way up for him.
Hello, this is Randy Tatum. I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I've enjoyed your Hangouts for a good while, and thought I'd share some photos and video of some impactites that I've collected in the field. And what you're looking at is pieces of shatter cone from the quarry at Kentland, Indiana. And you can see, got the lighting pretty good, so you can see the horsetail structure. Zoom in a bit. And there you go. In the camera, hopefully it'll won't struggle too much to focus. Anyhow, that's some macro evidence of impactite, and I'm going to show you some table with some breccias on it, and this is a big.
Okay, I paused it right there. Can anyone name this famous breccia? It's American, and he collected it himself.
Well, there's the Chesapeake Bay impact. I don't know what we actually have called it, but there's also the big one up in Canada.
I know.
With the nickel
about Kentland, Indiana.
This is not. This is
Alamo. Nice lab of Alamo Breccia from Alamo, Nevada, which is north of Las Vegas, and there's a whole mountain of breccia very close to the road that goes to Area 51. And so it was a shallow sea 270 million years ago. And so it was actually the west coast. So I'm gonna zoom in, you can see like a ring right here of coral. So there's coral mixed up in the impactite. And here's another little piece that's from Alamo, and the bright inclusions, they fluoresce and phosphoresce. And here's a here's a nice breccia from Wells Creek, impact site in Tennessee. It's 50 miles west of Nashville. And the matrix here fluoresces and phosphoresces. And here's another, speaking of coral, it's a piece of horn-shaped coral from Wells Creek, and it was near the edge of the crater, and it became extinct during the Permian extinction about 250 million years ago. But closer to ground zero is the coral, well, you can see the coral structure, but it's incorporated into like dolomite. So so it become like an impactite. And another example is Jephthah Knob. I've got some a lot of shells from Jephthah Knob. But closer to zero, the knob, you can drive up to the top, and it shows it's the rebound from the crater. And you can see I had it cut and made into a thin section. But this this piece is just made of fragments of shells that have been broken up into tiny pieces. And this is the carbonate rock. It's really hard to find quartz there. And so if you do the acid test with diluted HCl or muriatic acid will work, that's you can see it fizz and proving that it's carbonate. Here's another piece from Wells Creek. I had it cut and made into a thin section. Wow. And it shows a nice chocolate matrix. I get my thin sections made from Ray at, his name is Ray, and he's at Quality Thin Sections in Tucson. Here's another piece that will look good on a mantle, and it is from Decaturville, Missouri, and it shows a nice melted. The whole front of it's melted, and you can see where it's flowed, and it's rather heavy. And so there's plenty of craters within driving distance. There's probably 5 or 8 within 1 to 2 days from me in Virginia. So I'm going to show you my microscopes. This is an OMAX petrographic microscope. Does cross polarization, do transmitted and reflected polarization. Then also have a stereo microscope, which I adapted for polarization. So I enjoyed it, and I'll hope to see you soon. Let me get the camera right. Anyway, enjoyed talking to you and hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good stuff. So, yeah, I used to have a whole bunch of impact material, but I got rid of it all to kind of hone down my my attention. Let me see here. I think I have whoops. Thanks, bud. Well, we are still plugging away with raising funds for our buddy, Daniel Shake. He is moving to Portland from Florida in order to continue his education and classification of meteorites. You see him there proudly next to a super probe. So if you want, please do a screen grab right now, and you can give a little or a lot. Pat, did you have anything?
Yeah, Daniel did a couple of video segments for us in his From the Lab videos that were just fascinating. And I would, after he gets himself settled out there, and by the way, he's moving to Portland, Oregon, not Portland, Maine. There's two significant Portlands, but he is Portland, Oregon, and he will be affiliated with Cascadia. Cascadia, thank you. Meteoritics there in Portland. But Daniel did a couple of From the Lab things for us. I would dearly love to see some more of that, and of him sitting at the microprobe and talking through measuring phthaleite numbers or phosphorite numbers, and looking at details and what's important, what's not important, would be absolutely fascinating.
Well, Daniel, there's your invite, buddy. we've had 2 episodes so far, and they usually coincide with Daniel classifying one of the community's meteorites, meaning the knowledge bolide community. And so hopefully, I know he is like moving and getting his education and doing all that. So it's going to be a little while before he can be creative, but I'm really hoping that he continues, with that series as soon as possible. He's already expressed interest in continuing that.
Woohoo! All right.
On a good note, following up on that, I've gotten his permission, if you will, to strip those out of the Hangouts and put them as freestanding videos on the YouTube channel. So there'll be a From the Lab series that you can click and watch only.
Very nice.
Yeah. And hopefully he'll help us understand what we're looking at on screen right now a little better, because we all try our best to understand it, but he's the actual one getting trained on it.
I would like to offer up too that he's going to be doing 2 classifications for me, because the recent couple weeks ago I showed a group of stones that I bought, and we talked about how some of them are attracted to magnets and some of them aren't. They're probably
Correct.
both CVs or carbonaceous at least, and I'm going to challenge him, record that.
That'd be cool.
Yes.
So Chris, he has confirmed that they're 2 different rocks?
He hasn't entirely confirmed. What he says is they definitely look different, and he asked me to send him in the second sample. So to be clear, when you send in for a classification, you send a piece that is 1 to 2 grams for a thin section, and then you send in 20 grams if it's over a certain amount for, I don't know what the correct terminology is, but for a specimen sample.
Actually called the type sample. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Type sample.
It's either 20 grams or 20%, whichever is less.
Yeah, there you go. So I sent him in a type sample of the larger, more attracted to a magnet stone, the one with more metal in it. And then I sent him in a 2-gram sample of the non-magnetic, probably maybe, I don't know, CV reduced stone. And so I'm going to swap that. I'm going to send him the opposite. I'm going to send him 20 grams of the non-magnetic and another 2-gram piece of the magnetic stone, or attracted to a magnet stone, and see what he comes back with. I think I'm probably going to end up with 2 different classifications.
Cool.
Well, depending on what his working schedule is, I'm going to tickle his ear in an IM later to see if he can get that done. So if you would, Chris, drop that in the chat and I'll get that accomplished.
Has Daniel written any papers, technical papers, that he might make available? I know the customary thing is to recoup your cost in producing the paper. I understand that. I'm not looking to steal something that is normally sold for viewing, but maybe Daniel could walk us through the process of what the main points of producing a paper on a meteorite might be.
That might be a side subject that we can visit on, because I know there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, besides classifying. I think the main thrust of From the Lab is going to be the scientific nature of it and the actual steps of, and not just the steps, but the thought process behind classification. So here's what we assume, here's what we observed, which now leads us in this direction, that type of thing. So yeah, we definitely look forward to more episodes and Daniel joining us. And usually when he does those, he sticks around for the hangout. So we usually end up getting some extra time with him. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this. See what you guys think about this.
It's too rich for me.
It doesn't look real.
Yeah, this one is an interesting one.
Doesn't look like it's a meteorite to me.
That really polished and very, very uniform color, where it's shiny there. This could easily be a flint or chert or some other form of SiO2 that's been wind sculpted, but
it almost looks molded.
Yeah, yeah, and that's that shiny sort of look from the flint or chert sort of stuff. The chip in the upper left of the middle photo is interesting, the chip on the edge there. But this also has that look of being very uniform, very homogeneous. But there are some impact melts where the veins of impact melt material have this sort of appearance. But overall, the shape of this is pretty reasonable. The smaller features are fairly reasonable.
What about the pitting on the first photo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you zoomed in, it pop marks on the left shot.
That does
Right.
kind of look like
like
porosity,
pitting.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I'm doing this is because I want everyone to be able to learn a little bit and give their opinions. So any feedback on this one?
I'll hang back and let other people
Okay.
get some ideas out there.
Volcanic.
Okay.
Mine to say no, but it could be.
I get a lot of pictures sent to me and people ask me to identify stuff. I just wanted to show people it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, that one's a no. That one's a no.
No.
And why is it a no?
Right-hand picture in the upper like 12 o'clock position. It looks like there's some sediment.
Ron, say that again into your mic for us.
I'm sorry. In the right-hand picture, in the upper like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock position at the very top, those little things right there don't look normal.
Exactly what I zoned in on too, Ron.
And look at all the streaky nature of
Yeah,
it.
the
The plastic
streaks,
deformation.
Yeah.
Some sort of slag,
Yeah. And
melted metal.
Even here it has like filing marks, and here it has filing marks.
right. And over on the at 3 o'clock there's a bunch of filing marks a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That one is not. And then on the left photo down low, there's a big ass bubble down there at
Yeah.
6 o'clock on the first,
Okay.
with more plastic deformation around that hole. And that's funky because there's some rocks incorporated in it on the right photo.
Too many.
That's an oyster shell.
It has a blobby sort of look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a meteorite.
Not a meteorite. Look at all these
There's
voids.
some weird fractures around those voids too. Voids and vugs.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's a no.
I'm showing these because I want to show you several things. First off, none of these are meteorites.
Right.
This is my best guess. I'm not going to argue with Pat, but when I loaded this, I loaded it as a ventifact, a wind-blown rock, and definitely not meteoritic. I didn't see really anything I liked. I did see something I didn't like.
Yeah, it has that shiny, greasy sort of look that a
So
lot
do
of
you.
forms
And
of
the pitting.
So this other one here is I basically think the same thing. I think it's like a lump of obsidian or some kind of volcanic glass or volcanic.
on the left photo looks like sandstone.
Yeah, and the thing is, on the, I'm not going to say eBay, but on the eBay ad, they had tons of pictures of the right-hand side and only one picture of the bottom side. And the bottom side is really what gives it away.
Yep.
There's a bunch of weird things out there that you look at and you go, oh yeah, the uneducated will think there's a bunch of flow lines. Look at all these flow lines you see in here. Oh my God, you can tell it. It looks like a Sikhote-Alin worth $15 a gram. No, it's
solidified clay from a riverbank.
Yeah, it's nothing worth collecting. And I don't know what this is. It's probably the same thing, but as everyone always wants to claim, a magnet sticks to it.
There you go.
Now we get into the part. Now, okay, there can be uneducated people thinking these are meteorites, and that's explainable. Then there are outright now manufacturing attempts at creating fake meteorites. And this is going to they're just starting this within the last 6 months. They're gonna get the Chinese. I'm sorry. Yeah. They are going to get better. It's going to get harder and harder to tell. They're going to start faking famous meteorites, and the uneducated are going to get bamboozled.
Yep. Big
time.
Unfortunate. I think they're only going to hamstring themselves if they saturate the market with fakes. Once people realize that the Chinese are doing that, people are going to shy away and stick with more reputable people.
But how would you possibly?
Yeah, but they don't know.
It's not going to be for the serious collector. It's going to be somebody that wants to get a gift for somebody.
Yeah.
There's an
You
interesting.
can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time.
There's an interesting thing going on in China too in the last several years. They really don't have a lot of things that they can invest in that are long-term investments. You can't buy property in communist China. You buy a 99-year lease. There's a lot of
the UK too.
Can't really have overseas bank accounts. So there's a lot of Chinese people with a lot of money that are looking to invest in something, and the Chinese fakes and not necessarily manufactured fakes, but other rocks that they're selling as meteorites is not a new thing. Farmer used to go to some very large Chinese shows, some of them even sanctioned by the government, and he said that in some of them more than half of the rocks that were for sale, and these are not kiddie, $2 a piece ruffle through the basket of them. These are like 20, 30, 50, 100-pound rocks. He said there were some of the shows where more than half of that stuff was fake, and yet they were claiming that all of it were meteorites. And this one here is the one that Shun
looks like fruitcake.
Yes, it does.
But do you notice one thing? I included this one in particular for one reason. Can you guys figure out why I picked this one?
No Widmanstatten.
Yes, exactly. I heard Widmanstatten from Ron. If you look at this, it looks as if it does have some type of Widmanstatten pattern in it due to heating. if you look at it, it's all burnt. All the olivines are all affected. It is a okay.
Yeah. The color of the olivine crystals is very weird.
Yeah, you're not in,
also.
There are some
beach glass
reconstituted. There are some very beautiful pallasites that have, you know, candy apple green, or I'm sorry, apple green, ambers, oranges, golds, but you're never going to see this wide variety in one single olivine. You're not going to see a multicolored olivine that's amber, brown, tan, green, black. There's everything in this olivine is half and half. This one side, all the olivines are apple green. I don't know if this would take an etch. I don't know if they're cutting all the serrachos and with all the extra metal, they're melting it down into these blobs. I don't know
going
what
back
they're
to those three. That center one that had all the green circular olivines, it almost looked like there was some barred olivine showing there or something. Shot and barred olivine in it.
There would never be. Well, yeah,
I've never seen barred olivine in a
pallasite.
No, they're the natural thing is that the pallasites are not colored by rust. They're colored by a continuous substitution between magnesium and iron in the crystal lattice, and green is all the way at the magnesium end and dark brown is all the way at the iron end, and everything in between. And because these meteorites have been around, the real ones have been around for years, there aren't any sharp zones where you go from green to brown. And this is, you know, somebody went out and bought a pickup truck load of olivines, and they got dumped into the mix with the epoxy or whatever the crap is they're using to hold this together.
So I you know, when computers first came out versus now, a lot has changed. I guarantee you, with the amount of greed and amount of profit and the amount of people working at it, within a year or two, only the unsavvy are safe. If you look at this one here, you actually see, well, I don't know if you can, I'm going to highlight with my laser so it shows up on the replay. You can actually see a manufacturing melt line right here or something. That's not the angle grinder. Like they literally molded a half of an egg, and then like I don't know what to say. Like, people are going to be taken advantage of, and it sucks.
Question, Topher. If they showed up, these people showed up at a annual show, say like the Tucson show, and they were trying to sell that material, what would the meteorite community do to them? Would they ride them out of town on a rail?
Get a rope.
Well, there's really, I'll answer it because I own a company. As a company owner, I would complain to the management, the show promoters, and let them know that there is someone selling fake material or misidentified material and misidentified for a profit, and let them handle it, because my life can't consist of going after every scammer, because I have to educate you fools.
So you leave your sidearm at home.
Yeah. So I just am really, really scared for the future when I see that, you know, when I started 4 years ago, I wouldn't have fallen for this, but I might have believed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That fake mesosiderite That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'd love to know if that's a manufactured thing or if it is a natural stone, but
it's in a wedge. It's in the same wedge square shape as everything else. Look at it.
Yeah, as the fake pallasites.
Yeah. It's pressed in whatever mold or look, they're all square. This is an egg. You can tell they just poured it in an egg, then grinded off the edges. These are all the exact same shape, exact same size. These are all different pieces, by the way. None of these are the same listing. They're all different listings, but they're all identical shape and size.
Yep.
Well, with that ranting about fake meteorites done, I know a source where you can get real meteorites. So you have 2 seconds to grab a screenshot of my URL.
And the message really is, talk to somebody in the know. Get help from an expert, somebody who's been in the field for a long time. Know your supplier. I've got one more thing to share, Topper, if you like.
By
Just
all
a
means.
Short one. So not directly meteorite related, but unnatural glasses. This is what a kilogram of trinitite looks like.
Wow.
You did it.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And there's some amount of the red trinitite in here too.
Wow.
And here's what a kilogram of trinitite sounds like.
Yeah.
It is radioactive, not
not tremendous,
but it is still radioactive. This is from an explosion that happened 70 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
This is from the Trinity explosion in Alamogordo, the first atomic weapon. It was one of the plutonium implosion bombs.
Is that some of the Bob Lazar stuff?
No, this came from another source. Bob Lazar does sell it in his store, United Nuclear, and I have
United Nuclear, yes, sir.
A piece from him that I rebought. His stuff is really, really expensive.
Well, I have a question for you regarding trinitite. Does the same meteorite policy apply that once you buy it, it never leaves your home? Because you're showing a kilo off. You don't need a kilo.
I haven't decided yet.
An opportunity has arisen.
Wow. Spoken like a true hoarder collector. I'll tell you what, Pat, why don't you go ahead and oh, you know what? We have a check-in. We have a beautiful check-in.
You can show it off. You want to tell them what this is? You know what that is? Say it's Admire.
It's Admire.
You know where that's from?
No.
It's from Kansas.
What's Kansas?
Kansas is a state. So anyway, Chris was asking about the Admire that I was working on. So I just wanted to show some of this stuff off real quick. Let me see here. This was the first piece I worked on, and you could see it's a little bit thicker, but it still has a couple olivines. You know, that you got some nice, good color on. But that motivated me to want to work on a piece and get it thinner, so you got even more. And this was bigger than any of the clamps that I had for the isomet. So I know they make waffle clamps that are iron or not iron, aluminum, like Pat was saying. So I made myself an acrylic one.
Nice.
And was able to get this slice. It's probably 2 millimeters.
Nice.
So this stuff, I mean, Admire. I'm sure there's some really solid Admire. You know, this stuff is a little, the olivines. You can see they have like fracture in them. So hopefully it stays together when it comes off. But to give you an idea.
Oh my God.
Oh wow.
Beautiful. 2 mil. You know, I was trying to maximize getting as much of the olivine transparent as I could. So
yeah. And one of the cool things, Mike, about your isomet saw is with the slow cutting, it minimizes subsurface damage.
yes, yeah, it definitely does. Like I said, you know, these were very. I mean, to give you an idea, this is the inside face of the other half from the ISO. And you can see it's a lot better condition than this is, and that's actually a little bit's coming off while I'm lapping, you know.
Right.
So
I really hope you have a lot of success getting that off, man.
Yep, we'll do.
I know we were having a lot of discussion online today about how to cut pallasites, how to the speed of the saw, the weight on the saw arm, how quickly the saw was going. I think that's a great solution you have there. I'm just wondering, oh my God, with as touchy and fragile as that Admire is, I'm really hoping a nice little razor blade goes right under there and it comes right off for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a very brand new, very sharp razor blade going around the edge of that thing.
Nice. I'll tell you what, if that works, I have some Brahin I need you to do.
Sounds good.
I'm always on the lookout for a saw for hire, a 3D printer for hire, an iron finisher for hire. If anyone knows how to edit videos quicker than me, I need them to be hired. All right, rocks on the ground. Chris Monk checking in with us.
All right, so I thought I would bring you guys along a little bit on my learning journey. So this, inspired by Ron, I picked up this piece of Campo. It's like 50 grams. Super rusty, horrible saw marks. But that's what I was looking for. So I am going to make my first experience of reworking an iron. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to remove all the rust. I'm going to get rid of some of the saw marks, and I'm going to etch it.
Sweet.
So I just wanted to show you guys the pre rocks on the ground version.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take lots of pictures and maybe even make some video for Topher to show people.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to kind of give you guys a prequel to the hopefully awesome Campo that I have at the end of this.
Excellent.
Do you have a?
I have a question to ask.
Set up?
Excuse me?
Do you have an electrolysis thing set up?
I don't, but I'm an electrician. I
there you go.
probably can figure it out.
I go into great detail on some of my videos.
Oh, I've watched them about 10 times.
That's great to know.
Yeah. I love the power of the knowledge bolide, because really I can't do this by myself. So we have people like Ron Metches doing how-to videos that, as we saw last week, a guy in Brazil, Carlos in Brazil, took advantage of the instruction and saved his agudal. Looked like over a kilo agudal.
Yeah.
And now we have another guy who is, you know, he bought a cheap meteorite. A Campo is about as cheap of iron as you can get. It's in distress. If no one did anything to it, it would wither away to nothing. And going to use Ron's videos again to save another meteorite. So yeah, I think that's really yeah. And I still have some other videos of yours. I have your Australian collection that's going up next. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah. So so stay tuned. Go back and look at Saving an Iron, I think it's called. And look forward. I think this weekend I'm going to do the other video on Ron's Australian collection, which is pretty interesting, because I know we have a lot of Australian mates. So I want to show you a beautiful meteorite. And I'm actually going to take it out of the case. I usually don't, but I'm going to take it out of the case, and I'm going to ask Pat and Mike to keep their lids closed. See if we can get someone to ID this. Okay.
Ooh.
That's lunar.
This side has deep saw marks. Yikes. That's why I display this side.
Oh my God, I just saw that today.
Whoa! I just knocked my phone off the stand.
As long as you
don't drop it.
This is not lunar.
Is it some Eucrite?
It is not a Eucrite.
Is it a meteorite?
Yes, it's an Albright.
Oh, Norton County?
Nope.
Is that? Oh no, you actually showed this one last week or the week before, I think. Unless I'm mistaken.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I may be mistaken too.
Is this the new NWA one?
Nope. This is an old one from Texas. It's a Texas Albright.
Can I guess yet?
Yes, please go.
Pena Blanca Springs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mike was dying.
Topper, it'd be really interesting to see if that one fluoresces too.
Yeah, I need to get the right light for that. And then I have one more thing that I want to show off, and I'm not exactly. It's Tamdink. Let me see here. There we go. All right. So these are just little fragments of an H5 chondrite, but each one has such awesomeness to it. Like I'll just here. Let me see. I'll grab this one right here.
Oh, nice crust.
Beautiful crust on that. Let me see here. Got another one. Let me get the.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Nice.
That's really pretty.
You can see it almost has a rollover lip on it.
Yeah.
We're gonna need Domyon to take pictures of that.
There was actually one that this is the one I think. Nope. There's one that has a small, this is it right here. This one I'm actually sending to Domyon because I want him to photograph this. That little patch there. And then it has something on this side here. Let me see, where was it? Was it this piece? Can't remember if it's this piece or not, but it has like secondary crust right there. I just thought he could really make this pop with some photographs, but it does have some. Oh, there it is. It does have some. The metal right there looks really weird if you catch it at the right light.
Yeah, it looks iridescent.
Is that from Sweden?
No, this is
Tom Duck.
Yeah, Tom Duck. I think it's Algerian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely NWA. But yeah, just even the smallest piece. Wow, it's even hard to hold it so small.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice.
Look at that fusion crust.
Yeah, that is sexy crust.
Yeah. So just tiny, and then a beautiful white matrix interior. Yeah.
What's the classification on that one, Topper?
The name on this one?
The classification is
It's an
L5. It's an H5. Okay.
Yep. And I believe, I think it was a witness, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just an example to show you, because we were talking earlier about outreach and getting into meteorite collecting, and how you don't need to spend a fortune to have a 1 gram sample of the moon. This is another example where if someone wanted to, with an eye loop, inspect a meteorite with fresh fusion crust, view of the interior, like meteorites, yeah, you can go crazy money wise, but you don't have to. You know, you can get small samples of things and enjoy them, and then branch out your collection as far as that goes. I think we had Ben wanting to check in. Is that still true?
Yes. I'm gonna change the camera. Okay. So first I wanted to show you Kainsaz, because we're not in Kansas anymore.
That's my birthday stone.
Are you serious?
Serious.
Oh, nice.
A CO 3.2, and it's a witnessed fall.
I'll take it.
It's also very beautiful in thin section too.
Why don't you go ahead and send that to me?
I actually know who has 2 whole stones of Kainsaz.
I can't afford it. That's out of my pay grade.
Oh, and since you've mentioned it, here's some more Tom Duct. I had this sealed because it's still got dirt on it from the from the fall. But more importantly, I wanted to show you guys some of that Alamo Breccia.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty.
So it's I've got 2 slabs. They're pretty thick. Each weighs about 135 grams or more.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
What's the name? What's the name of the crater? Is it Alamo Crater?
It's just, yeah, Alamo Impact Zone, I think, is the official name.
Are these samples you collected yourself?
No, I bought these 2.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I got them from an old timer because they were really thick.
Jeez.
Nobody would cut them that thick these days.
Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful. Yeah. So this has been a little impactite expedition today.
Oh, yeah. And I also wanted to show you a Hammadah al Hamra 280. Let's see.
What's the classification on that?
CK4.
Ooh.
Wow.
Karunda class. Oh, okay. 26 kilos total known weight. Very nice. Yeah. CK4 is a little bit more unique classification. I did see a beautiful specimen online today that was a CK6. Just dark as night. Dark is my favorite beer. Yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous. And you know it was expensive because I didn't even bother asking or thinking about asking what the price was. So there was not a chance in hell I was going to buy it. I'm not a huge carbonaceous guy myself. But hey guys, that was a really good 2-hour hangout. I appreciate everyone's attending and sharing their knowledge and their meteorites and their time with us, because it's a good way to spend 2 hours talking with your friends about one of your favorite things. So Thanks for joining, everyone. I appreciate it. Have a great
Thank
week.
you, Topher.
Thank you.
Have a good week, everybody.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Stay